The influence this bank has in the community is tremendous. It wasn't until later that I realized how much the Hibshman scholarship was part of that influence.
He was born in 1872. When he grew up, the town had dirt streets. There was no electric. There was, no sewers, water system. The town was really, just developing. He never had a telephone. He had no radio. He had no TV. He didn't drive. He never graduated from high school. He wanted to better the community and I think invest in the future.
I was 18 when I applied for a job. Mr. Hibshman was 83 when he interviewed me. And about 2 days later, Mr. Hibshman called me on the phone and said, "Hey, we have a job for you and excellent opportunity for advancement." So that's how I started my career. I never had a college education, and he gave me a chance to be someone in the community.
Mr. Hibshman loved Ephrata. Ephrata was his life. He invested everything into Ephrata. He was a bachelor, he had no family, and he just wanted his legacy to live on. But I think he had no idea how much of that would continue and how long it would continue. And not only is it continuing, but it's flourishing.
The scholarship came together as he was considering his end-of-life issues. He indicated that a large portion of his estate in the form of stock, Ephrata National Bank stock, to be procured and set aside to support the building and developing and training leaders for the next generation in the form of scholarships to the students who graduate from Ephrata High School.
The scholarship can be life-changing in many ways because a lot of kids, they have a dream or an idea, but they may not have the financial means to put it into reality. This has opened doors for kids that maybe they didn't know they had. But we've had students walk out of here with in excess of $40,000 on scholarship night. That is life-changing in terms of their financial future. The Hibshman was half of that.
Stepping into college and further education, I was just thinking of all the numbers and the cost. So to be able to attend Ephrata and have something like the Hibshman scholarship to be able to earn, I was able to take some of the financial burden off of myself, off of my parents.
I wanted to go to Juniata College and was a little more money than what my family was expecting to pay. My dad, before we went in, said to me, "Chris, don't get your hopes up. I don't think we're gonna be able to swing this." And when we went in and we went through all the money, that Hibshman scholarship really helped.
The most surprising part was going to school and realizing other students from other places didn't have the same opportunities.
It has been a source of pride because everyone's like, I can't believe this even comes from your high school.
It gives kids the opportunities that they may not have otherwise had.
We really have something special here from Ephrata.
It's made a huge difference in my life.
The idea of having the value of furthering your education, enriching the students of our community with that opportunity is transformational. Transforms the way they look at the world, the way they look at life, what they choose to be, who they become. It transforms every element of the community through the acts of its graduates.
Just thought, what a blessing to have teachers and guidance counselors and even our local bank looking out for the students.
It's a really great piece that the high school can use to encourage students to think about, what do you want to do after school? If you want to go to college, this can make it more realistic in the long term.
I believe in some ways it's a driving force for why people come back to this community, just the legacy that Mr. Hibshman left for this town.
50 years ago, I was 17 years old here in Ephrata, and you have on your mind your senior year, all the things that you might do or might study, and how you're going to manage to finance all that is kind of all a swirl.
The financial burdens that my parents were facing were significant, and at that time, hard to believe, but $500 a year covered pretty much all the tuition.
Made you feel proud to be honored that way by Mr. Hibshman and the Ephrata National Bank.
I think he would be wowed. He would be Amazed is not strong enough term at the amount of influence he's had.
You know, for us to remain an independent community bank, we have to have strong communities. With over $34 million going to 4,700 individual students, we're part of that strength and we have an obligation to give back. You know, when I walk to my office, there's his portrait staring at me. And I often think, you know, I wonder if he thinks I'm doing well or living up to the standard, because it is pretty awesome. He wanted to be remembered. He certainly is and will be remembered forever.
I think the impact has to be much more than he anticipated. Just the growth economically of the amount, but the number of lives that have been impacted, I think he'd be really proud.
Well, if Mr. Hibshman was sitting across from me today, I would certainly thank him, not just for my personal scholarship, but for all the scholarships that have been awarded since 1965.
I appreciate what you've done, not only for me, but for my immediate family and for the Ephrata community. We have an obligation to you to live well out of what you've provided.
Thank you, Mr. Hibshman.
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 Thank you, Mr. Hibshman.